Hi guys, it's Annette with Sun to Shine Astrology and Tarot, and I'm just kind of checking in and wondering how you all are doing. I've thought a lot about today. This is the day after the election, and I thought I would go over the astrology for those of you that find facts in astrology really interesting. First of all, I think that we just all need to take a deep breath right now, and we need to realize that this is going to be a process that we're going to have patience with. I want to talk a little bit about energy in astrology right now because I think it's valuable to understand what energy is doing to us. And that's how we can then route it into some sort of positivity, or we can at least have some peace with the fact that the process is the process. When the election happened, Mercury in Libra went direct. Now, it doesn't speed up right away. It speeds up after a little bit, but it's a really quick little planet. Like, it's a fast little guy. So we weren't ever going to find out anything because Libra energy is related to legalities. And then in the square, we've got Mercury in Libra that's direct in a square with Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, all in Capricorn. That's the government. So we were never going to know right away who was going to be the one, right? There was never going to be a landslide. I don't care what the polling showed, like I knew it. We had Venus in Libra in 8 degrees and in the exact degree as Uranus and Taurus in 8 degrees in a quincunx. So sensitivities would run high. Instability will be felt. It is a very, very slow process. And it is a lot of misinformation, and it's confusing. And the dualistic part of it is going to drive us all bananas because Libra energy, very dualistic, right? It's about balancing the scales, but two scales. But then that is in an exact quincunx with Uranus and Taurus. Taurus energy is very fixed and goal-oriented, and usually takes a long time to reach its goal, right? It's slow, steady growth, but it's growth that happens over a long period of time, but it's like a strong, strong foundation once it's built. That's in a quincunx right now. It was always going to make the energy in Uranus really feel unstable and overly sensitive. And it was really going to ignite a lot of our sensitivities. And this is going to put a personal strain on your relationships, your partnerships, your bonds, and your unions. Some of us may need them more than ever, and some of us may want nothing to do with them because it's the attack feels like an energy on yourself, on your sense of stability, on everything that you care most about right now. Everything that you need to have power over, you don't have power over right now. And when we get into states of powerlessness, that is when we find out who people really are. And I knew it would be a very charged energy. I want you to understand something about the political environment. And we're not going to pick sides here because I'm for all people. I'm not just for a side. We all want something, and we all have an agenda right now. And we deeply identify with this agenda. But what we don't understand about our agendas is that these are residual agendas. These are not forward-thinking agendas. These are agendas that we have been feeling in the past, and they're bubbling to the surface. And so for some of us that were frustrated with the 2016 election, however you go, you're even more passionate about it right now, which is why the turnout was so high, because it's a buildup from 2016, and now we're working off of that same information. And where we felt powerless before, we now know that we have more power than we think we do, and we're learning that through expressing ourselves, through protesting, through speaking up, speaking out, identifying with what we truly want, picking an absolute side. Those are all things we do when we swing in the opposite direction of having no power over things and submitting your entire power to something that you trust. Well, what you now know is that when you submit all of your power to something, people can abuse that power. And so now you're taking back your power. And this is an extremely energized environment because of the amount of negativity that's in energy right now. And people who don't know how to moderate their power yet, they haven't learned it because they're just taking it back after submitting for so long. They're going to swing in the extreme of that direction. And we're very, this is a very hard time just because we're so used to getting instantaneous everything. And that would be, so the polarity, of course, of Libra energy is Aries energy. Now, mind you, it's in retrograde, so it's in its detriment. It's being pulled into negativity in general. It's in a reflective state. You don't have the energy. You don't have the resources. You don't even know how you exactly identify with things. There's some question. And there's a lack of trust with yourself, a lack of confidence. And some people, when they get in a powerlessness state, they try to overpower others. That's just what happens because you're out of balance, right? So Aries energy is self, Libra energy is partnerships. And when you're out of balance, you're either swaying towards yourself or you're overextending yourself in your relationships. Somewhere in the middle is where we want to be always, right? And so somewhere in the middle is we draw boundaries, but we're not trying to impose our boundaries on others. We're just drawing a healthy boundary. And if people push that boundary, then you stand up for yourself and you take control. But you don't take away the power of others. So the difficult thing about all of this energy right now is this is going to be a very long process. I assure you that the last week in November, we're going to be dealing with this up until the last week of November. Absolutely certain. We have a lunar eclipse that is going to be in Gemini on the 30th of November, 29th to 30th, depending on where you are. So you can guarantee that this duplicity that we feel, this uneasiness, this lack of direction, this restlessness, this need to feed yourself all the information that you can so that you can find some sort of meaning and some sort of justification for all of this is going to be going on this whole month. So you're going to have to figure out how you want to direct all of this. How do you want to deal with all of this? Now, are you going to be self-destructive? Are you going to abuse people in your relationships? Are you going to try to take away the power of others? Are you going to be combative and argumentative and impatient and petulant and just a terrible person? Or are you going to say, I have to get control over myself. I have to take care of myself. I need to do everything I can to do a lot of self-care and self-love and self-soothing. I have to admit to myself my weaknesses, and I have to strengthen my strengths, and I have to accept my weaknesses, and I have to face them, because that would be also Chiron and Aries, which is holding really tight on all this energy. So we're really finding out where we're weak. We're finding out what we're like when we're weak. We're finding out what we're fearful of and scared of what threatens our identity. We're finding all of that out. And this is tough. Really, really tough to face. On top of the most politically charged environment I've ever personally witnessed. I want to give you a little bit a study guide for Libra energy and Aries energy. This is very important because what the opposing energy of Libra is Aries. Because as soon as next week hits, my loves, we're diving into Scorpio energy, and that's where it's going to get real. I told you this was a slow moving storm. It would take a long time for us to overcome this, for a long time on our energy. It's going to be very we're gonna have to learn how to manage ourselves in fearful states. And for some of us we have minor fears, and some of us we have monsters and demons that lie in us that we didn't even know lived in there. And that's what this energy is going to bring out. What's happening right now is, with all of this Aries energy, it's regressing you deep into the murky depths of you. And it's pulling stuff out of your identity that you need to address. Because that's what you're like when you're in a weak state. I mean, you ever met a person and that person is like super awesome when they're out with you guys are all, you meet them at a bar and you're just talking and they're so fun and so entertaining, and you guys start dating and that's just so fun, and then you move in with them and they're a different human. That is this energy. So I have been thinking about how do you manage energy like this, because I can tell you that it's very overwhelming. And one of the things we have to do is realize that we have more power than we think we do over our individual circumstances. The one way that this energy will have control over you is to evoke fears. Some of your scariest, and they'll push the buttons, they'll trigger them because they want you to react the way they want you to react. You have to use your intellect. Now we have a Mercury's in Libra right now, and it's all going direct. So see it for what it is. The manipulation, the lies, the drama, the insecurities, the fears, the fear mongering. Like, it's all a game. It's all just a big old game to make us be a puppet. They're so scared that we are understanding how much power we have. Did you see the voter turnout, guys? They're so scared that our voice has that much power. They're terrified that we're going to figure it out. Do you understand that? And we're falling into their traps because we always have, right? But the difference between now and then was that we're smarter and we're onto it, right? In 2016, we weren't onto it. We didn't understand voter manipulation could happen. We didn't know that the internet had the power that it had. We didn't know that social media had the power that it had over could sway our judgments. Like, we didn't know that. That's Libra. We didn't know. We couldn't identify that. That's Aries. We have now identified that because it's past-based. And now we can see it for what it is, and we can judge things properly. This is a very tough time. And I promise you this entire month is going to push every single fearful button you have. But it's also going to define what is really, really important in its most simplest form. It's going to restructure your life. It is going to destroy areas in your life that have been weak. And it is going to make room to transform areas where you have always fell down in. And seeing it for what it is in astrology is one thing, but feeling it is a whole different thing. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. This is a time where you have to quiet your mind, because we have a lot of energy. Everything that happens right now starts in the mind. That's where fear festers. That's where memories lurk. That is where insecurities lie. That is where we try to identify things that create comfort zones for us so that we can feel safe. Our mind is powerful, and we have been very sloppy with our minds. We have been submitting our control over our minds to social media, to people who will take care of us, to people who will um, I thought about just the general comfort I used to have with thinking that the government was the good guy, or like that the policemen were the good guys. I had a comfort. I submitted my energy to them, and I trusted them because I was told to. But now it's a different type of realization. The other energy that's really important to talk about right now, and really tough to talk about, is Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces energy is where we lose our footing, where we had a false sense of security, where we created an illusion, and we basically submitted our control to that because it was an area that we wanted to avoid. It was mentally uncomfortable. It wasn't fun. It was hard. Like, we didn't want to manage that area. Anywhere where your Neptune is a place where you are probably going to have substantial realizations in your life in. And right now, on an energetic level, just like on a global level, right? It's in Neptune and Pisces in retrograde. This is bringing up every single thing that you have been delusional about in your life. I mean, seriously, come on, man. Like, it's been tough to really face this stuff. Now, most of us try to. The number one search yesterday on Google was, where's the nearest liquor store? Welcome to Neptune and Pisces, right? Let's all go get high. Let's go get drunk. Let's just forget about this day. Let's not turn on the TV. We're going to avoid it. We're not going to deal with anything. That's Neptune and Pisces, right? I'd rather have fun and think about anything else. I just only want to think about the good things. I don't want to deal with any of the bad things. That's Neptune and Pisces energy. We have been on this journey with Neptune and Pisces. The thing is that's the negative part of the Piscean energy, right? The positive part of Piscean energy is it's the ultimate creator, and it is the direct link to source, whatever you consider that to be. It is a beeline for spirit. And there's it's such an easy thing to reach and to receive the downloads that you need to transform and to be something more and to achieve your dreams and your hopes and your wishes. But we're so busy masking it all with drugs and alcohol and eating and avoiding our addictions that we can't get to the source that's plugging us in to where we're supposed to go. The reason I'm saying all of this, I said I wasn't going to release any more videos, is because it's not about just me. I have a channel here and I'm in relationship with you. That's Libra, Mercury and Libra right now. We're in a relationship and you tune into me and I can't just be thinking about myself. That would be Aries. I can't be so self-oriented. The opposition of all the Libra energy is to create partnerships of trust and bonds that last a lifetime. And that's what I want to create with you guys. And when it's tough, I can't bail on you because that's Neptune and Pisces, man. I'm just thinking about myself. I'm avoiding. No, I'm not like that anymore. We're in this together and it's tough and we need to do what we need to do to get by. But I want you to understand you have more power over this than you think you do. Because as a collective voice, we have the power to make changes and we are figuring that out. But this is a long process, sweetheart. Like this is a long, long road. And especially with the election, I want you to understand the legalities that are going to come out of this are going to be absolutely frustrating because they're going to fight in court over this for it's going to go on till I would think till close to the end of the month, and then we're going to have a big ecliptic event. And usually an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, is a well, it's emotional, but it's usually a conclusion. It eclipses it out, it ends it. So I feel like we are going to be in quite the battle here for a little bit on a legal level, and that's just because of all the Libra energy that we have. And then we're going to go into the Scorpio area where it's going to be pulling out this lie, pulling out this fact, like all of this deception and all. But what they're trying to do is control you through fear. Please understand, because we're going to be diving into Scorpio season. That's all they're doing. It's not real. It's only as real as you think it is. Because I want you guys to know that this is energy and it will pass and you're going to be okay. And I'm not going to be here and I'm not going to bail, and I'm going to produce a lot of videos, I think, on the astrology side of things, because it's great to be a tarot reader and we're going to have some pick a card readings to lighten it up. But I definitely think that the astrology is so soothing to know that it's just energy and all energy passes. And energy is stretching our boundaries and opening us up for something better. It's transforming our outcomes. I took today off of work. I was mentally overwhelmed with just stuff on a personal level and then just external energy. I have a limitation and I can only take so much before I'm just not a functional person. Welcome to my weakness, guys. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with blasting it out and telling everybody just how weak I am. I'm fine. I don't have to be a tough guy. I don't have to be strong and impenetrable and some super spiritual guru that doesn't feel anything and I've mastered everything. I haven't mastered everything. It's constant discipline. And even though I know this stuff, I have to take deep breaths like everybody else. I have to meditate. I have to do yoga. And I think more importantly, I have to realize that I'm not in this alone, and we're not alone. And the thing is we've been selfish and self-oriented and self-focused for so long. We didn't really realize just how much we needed people, how much collectively we needed to be not divided, but together in unity. And if it takes utter division and the cost of being a divided country for us to figure that out, I've just got to trust that Spirit knows what's best. I think the ultimate thing that we can say, and I'll conclude with that, is that one of the things as we dive into Scorpio season and as we come out of Libra season is you have to have complete faith. That's Uranus and Taurus, right? That's sitting in retrograde right now. activating all this Venus and Libra energy. You have to have utter faith in the process, in the spiritual process, in the cracking open of the egg, basically. We're being cracked right now. And what's going to fall out of that egg? It's going to fall out of that egg. We've been on very shaky ground for a really long time. And if anybody knows anything about capitalism, our economy is predictably unstable. That's why we have economists. They understand that. So this is breaking everything down to its foundation. That would be Pluto and Saturn. Pluto is the ultimate destroyer. It is conjunct with Jupiter, which expands everything it touches, and Saturn, which is karmic. These are the big guys, and they take a long time to move through an energy. And when they're all conjunct like this, it is a powerful truth. They destroy what is anything like a facade, any kind of mask, any kind of illusion. It's going to be destroyed and broke down to its foundational level so we can build a real, true, tangible goal based on a strong foundation. That's real. It's not an illusion. It's not a mask. It's not a lie. It's not fear-based. It's not something that will take away the power and give all the power to somebody else. It's not the 1%. It's all of us collectively together. And it's all got to go down to, it's coming down to this, honey. Because that's just, there's no other way to build but from the ground up. No other way. So I just want you to take a deep breath and know that this energy is going to go on for a while. But we do have an eclipse coming. So for all of you who are like, good God, please let this end. I can't go through this anymore. I have nothing left. There's a solar eclipse. And then there's a lunar eclipse. And then there's a solar eclipse, which is a beautiful, that's eclipsing in. But at first, it's got to eclipse out. Instability, misinformation, duality. It's got to eclipse all that out because it's got to invite something in that we can build on. So just take a deep breath and be mindful that we are in for a ride and it's going to be a while. Don't be impatient with this process because then you're falling into the Mars and Aries retrograde energy, which thankfully goes direct next week, which will take a little bit to speed up. And we'll have a new moon that is in Scorpio energy. Joe Biden's a Scorpio. So we've got a lot going on. And you know, our North Node is in Gemini, and that's Trump. So you understand, we have to be, our compass has to be pointed north. And however that compass gets pointed north, whatever is the catalyst, we've been going in the wrong direction for a really long time. Anyhow, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I want you to breathe. I want you to do really empowering things. I want you to love extra on the people in your life. If you're stressed and scared, open up and tell them. Be vulnerable. Tell them that you're weak. Tell them that you're not strong enough for this. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be strong right now. It's okay. Because we're going to get through this. I hope you have a good day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.